All right, my friends, we are back for another reading vlog. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tonya and I share all kinds of bookish content on this channel, from reading vlogs, TBR videos, book recommendations, bookish hauls, just all the bookish things with some other lifestyle things kind of sprinkled in there. And in this week's reading vlog, I am reading The Knight the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I'm not very far into it. Yesterday I finished I, Medusa by Ayana Gray, and because of that I only just got started on this book. I'm about 43 pages in. For I, Medusa, that is basically the prequel story of Medusa before she becomes a monster, and that book comes out on 11/18. If you like all things mythology, I would suggest you pick it up. Just be aware, there is talk of abuse in the book. That's just something to be aware of before you start reading it. It doesn't go into a lot of detail about the situations, but it is a present theme throughout the book. But I really enjoyed kind of hearing some of Medusa's backstory. It, of course, is a work of fiction, but was really well written, and I definitely did enjoy it and would recommend. And as far as The Knight and the Moth, I love Rachel Gillig. Last month I read the Shepherd King duology, and they were both 5-star reads for me. I just fell in love with the gothic atmospheric qualities of Rachel Gillig's writing, and that's continued into The Knight and the Moth. Like I said, I'm only 43 pages in, but kind of where we are now is we're following a group of diviners, and the main one is named 6. They don't go by their given names anymore, just a number that they were given once they became a diviner. And basically they see visions of different things and can kind of let you know if you're in good favor or you're in bad favor with the different omens of the realm. And so far, so good. There's been a couple of things I wasn't expecting. I did know it was a diviner's story, but apparently the way these dreams are presented is the diviners have to drink someone's blood, that, you know, whoever's blood that they're going to be doing the dream for, and then they get drowned in like a murky, disgusting stream. So that was interesting. That doesn't give anything away. That takes place like in the first chapter of the book. So I, just so you know, that wasn't a spoiler, but yeah, so wasn't expecting that, and I'm sure there will be many other things that I don't expect as we go through it. But right now I am just finishing up my work day. And also, let me show you guys this. So it was 60 3 days ago, and then this is what has happened today. So, drastic temperature drop. Wasn't really expecting that. But that is kind of how weather can go sometimes in the Midwest where I live. I'm in northern Kentucky, so the weather's kind of all over the place. But yeah, we had a snowstorm. So we'll see if I take Luna on a walk. She'll get some sort of outdoor time, but it may be shorter than usual depending on how the streets are looking when it's time for her to go for her walk. But once I get off work and either walk Luna or don't walk her and have some time to do some more reading, I'll catch back up with you when I have another update. So I'm about 100 pages in, so wanted to give you another little reading update. I'm really enjoying it so far. There's a sort of not just gothic, but also kind of a whimsy to the writing in this book, and I'm really enjoying it. There's been a lot of parts that have just actually been funny, and that wasn't something that I was expecting, but it's a lot of, I would say, like sarcastic humor, which is something that I also like. So it's really good. We're at the point in the story, and this is also not a spoiler, where some of the diviners are starting to disappear and no one knows what's happening to them. So I think we're really going to start getting into like the meat of the story now, but just really good so far. And then, yeah, I'm sure I'll read a little bit more later. Also on my game plan for the night is I'm going to make some pumpkin brownies, and it's a super easy recipe, so I'll show you guys that when I make the brownies as well. I usually try to do like one pumpkin baking thing each season, and I haven't done that yet. And before I move on to peppermint season, I wanted to make my pumpkin dessert. So I decided on pumpkin brownies, and you just use a boxed brownie mix and pumpkin. So like I said, super easy, but when I start to make those, I'll show you. That way if you want to give them a try, you can. And yeah, so that is going to be it for now, and I will catch up with you all in a bit. Alright, so you are currently sitting on top of the box of brownies, which I'm sure is an excellent life choice, but that's what we're going to work with. So essentially, you're just going to take all those ingredients that I just showed you. You're going to make the brownie mix to the package directions, and then in a separate bowl, you're going to put a half a cup of the pumpkin puree, a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, depending on how much of a pumpkin flavor you want, of pumpkin pie spice, and a splash of vanilla. Mix that together in a bowl, and then you put down half your brownie layer, put some of the pumpkin on top, swirl it together, then put the rest of your brownie on top, and I'll show you that process when we get to it. But then you bake it, and you're left with yummy pumpkin brownies with not a lot of work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything mixed together. I got my hair pulled back because I can't cook with my hair down. It grosses me out for some reason, so I always pull my hair back. But once I have everything mixed together, I'll show you how to assemble it. Alright, so I have my grease pan here, and I'm just going to put half the brownie mix in there. Then we're going to take our pumpkin mixture and just kind of put spoonfuls on the top. And then you just take a table knife or a toothpick or skewer, anything like that, and you just swirl it together like that. And then we put the rest of the brownie mixture on top, any leftover pumpkin, and then swirl it all together again. And voila, that is all there is to it. So now I'm going to put it in the oven for about 40 minutes or so, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. Alright guys, so happy Tuesday. I just got home from work and I have a hodgepodge of things that I wanted to update you on. First, we'll start with a little reading update. So I am about, if you can see there, almost exactly 50% of the way through The Knight and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I'm still really enjoying it. The gargoyle is like the best thing ever. I've really been enjoying him as kind of a side character. And Six's relationship with Rory has also been really interesting. They've got a lot of good banter, and you can tell that even with the front he puts on, that he is already totally head over heels in love for her. Of course, no one says anything of that nature, but you can tell. Anytime she's been injured, he has been the first to address whoever's harmed her, so he's definitely got it bad in my opinion. But just really loving the writing. It's a very interesting story, and kind of the way that the omens have worked and what we're finding out about them is all really interesting. So definitely can't wait to read more. Right now I'm going to say that it's probably going to be a 5-star read for me, but we shall see as we get closer to the end. And then besides that, I had a few other things I wanted to show you and update you on. First being, the brownies were amazing. I had one last night, and they did take longer than I expected to cook, but I used a smaller pan than I usually do, so I'm sure that's what the issue was. But it took about 60 minutes for the size pan I used, but they were well worth the wait. And I also have some books to show you, a couple other little bookish things, and then just a Target order for the fun of it. So I guess first we'll start with my little Target haul, which is some Christmas pajamas, because why not? I don't usually buy, and these are more winter themed than necessarily Christmas. There's the pattern. This is, I think, the Fairy Isles pattern, and it says "Let It Snow" on it. These are more winter themed, which is kind of more what I wanted, because I wanted to be able to feel like I could wear it after Christmas. So I treated myself to those. That was the top. And then the bottoms are the same pattern. And then I got a second set because they were on sale when I bought them. The top for this one says Cabin Crew, and it's just a short sleeve t-shirt. And then it is the pants that went with it are like this red fuzzy plaid pants. So I thought those would be super fun and warm and cozy. Then I got a couple of hot chocolate toppings. So these are basically crushed candy canes, and then some fun little sprinkles as well. I already have the marshmallows and the hot chocolate and all that stuff, but I wanted some little toppers. So that was it from that order, even though I do have more stuff from Target to show you. They were just bought at different times. So now we'll get into kind of the book stuff. So I picked up the second book in the Ashen series. Since I read The Road of Bones last month and liked it so much, I wanted to get the second book. So I grabbed that, Kingdom of Claw, and I'm wondering if this one is gonna focus more on Scylla's sister. So can't wait to read this one. Then from Target again, I picked up the B.K. Borison Good Spirits Special Edition. It has these cute little sprayed edges, and I don't read a lot of just straight up romances, but this one seemed like it was a fun little twist on a romance, in that the male main character is like is the ghost of Christmas past, so I thought that could be fun to read this holiday season. So I grabbed it. Then also, while I was at Target, and this is why I shouldn't go in store, I got a Book Lovers Advent Calendar. So it says, my holidays are booked, and it was like $20, and there's 25 different little things. And I think some of it, on the back it says there's bookmarks, there's stickers, there's gift wrap, washi tape, and more. So yeah, I just thought that would be kind of a fun thing for me to do during the holidays. So I treated myself to that. And then I also got my Book of the Month box, which is not sponsored. I pay for that with my own money, but it's a great service if you've never tried it. The books work out to about like $15, $16 a month, so pretty good price for a hardback. And sometimes they have, you get books early, they get released early through Book of the Month, or there's special editions. And then if you don't like any of the selections for that month, you can either just skip the month, or I usually just let the credit roll over, and then in the next month I pick up 2 books, or whenever I see a second one that I like. And that's what I did in October. And the book that I got was Violet Thistlewaite Is Not a Villain Anymore, and it's by Emily Krimpholtz. Hopefully I said that right. So this is a cozy fantasy, and basically our female main character in it is trying to move on after the death of the dark sorcerer that she's been serving for, however many years. And since he's died, she wants to move on to things that are maybe not so dark and start over and kind of have a second chance at life. So I think this one will be really cute. I mostly bought it because I love the cover, but then after, I read the description, that sold me on it a little more. So I'll be picking this one up in the next couple of months. And then for the second book that I picked up, I got A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. And I believe this is some sort of fairy tale retelling, but I am not exactly sure which one. But I've heard really good things about it, and I've been wanting to try out T. Kingfisher. I have Hemlock and Silver on my TBR cart that I also want to read, but since I had the credit and I had been eyeing this one for a while, I went ahead and picked this one up as well. And if you are interested in Book of the Month, I do always have a referral link down in the description box. It gets you your first book for like $5, and then it gets me a book credit as well. So if you are interested in it, I love the service, and you can just use that link down below to grab yourself a book. And I think that is everything. So yeah, that's my little haul. And now I'm just gonna get changed into some clothes to go outside in. It made it up to a big 39 today. So I am gonna have to put on some warmer clothes before I walk Luna. But we'll get out and walk, and then once I sit down to read tonight, I'll catch back up with you guys then. Happy Wednesday, my friends. So I have just gotten home from work, and I wanted to give you a quick reading update before I got changed and, did all the normal evening things. So I am almost finished with the Knight and the Moth. I have less than 100 pages left. And last night, tears were shed, laughter was had, and I do believe that Roderick may be my new book boyfriend. I'm still really enjoying the story, and just the humor that I wasn't expecting to find in this book has just been a real surprise. But I'm still just really enjoying the story, and the descriptions and the way the world is working and the kind of intricacies of the magic system, though I don't know that I would necessarily call it a magic system. It's more magical items, but just really unique, and I've been enjoying it. And I'm sure things are just going to explode in this last little bit that I have to read. So can't wait to finish it. And then, you know, wait the horribly long time for the second book to come out in the series. But yeah, that's my update for now. And then when I am reading tonight and I finish the book, I'll catch up with you then. Alright, so I just finished The Knight and the Moth, and it was a little bit heartbreaking. I guess not necessarily in a bad way. It sets us up to finish this story in an amazing way, and I kind of suspected something like this was going to happen, maybe not the exact path to how we got there, but such a good book, such wonderful writing, and Bartholomew, the gargoyle, is an outstanding character who, for someone who, you know, is not necessarily human, really had a lot of emotion and depth to him. And yeah, just a really, really amazing book. And I'm such a fan of Rachel Gillig's writing. This is her third book that I've read in the past 2 months, and all three of them have been amazing. So sad that it's over, and sad that I have to wait so long for the next book. I know it comes out at some point next year, but you know, I won't get to see how Six's and Rory's story continues for many months now. And yeah, so this is definitely a 5-star read for me. No questions about it. Loved every minute of it, and pretty much devoured this book. And would highly encourage you to give it a try, even if you're not a huge romantasy fan. There is something in this book for everyone. So if it's not on your radar already, go ahead and give it a shot. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And with that, this is where I'm going to end this reading vlog. So a little bit of a shorter one, but I don't think I'm going to have much time for filming over the next couple of days. But at least we are ending on a high note. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me this week and our journey with this amazing book. Take care, keep reading, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.